There is some speculation as to what year Hardy developed the aquatic ape theory. It is understood that Hardy developed this idea already around 1930, maybe even the year before, in 1929. He had returned to England after conducting lengthy studies into whale blubber in Antarctica from 1925 to 27. Legend is Hardy was sitting in his bathtub in 1930, reading F. Wood Jones' recently published Man's Place Among the Mammals. Reading a section about human beings having fat under the dermis in their skin to keep warm in lieu of missing fur, otherwise seen in all other apes, that to Hardy spawned the thought of it being man's own version of blubber, as he knew it expertly from whales and other aquatic mammals. He never perceived man as having ever been fully aquatic on level with whales, but instead human ancestors having evolved to pick foods wading bipedally in shallow waters off the African coast, and through that evolving unique ape traits convergent with aquatic mammals. Hardy then talked about his radical new idea to colleagues, and to a man they all said he shouldn't speak out loud about it, otherwise he would become a laughingstock, and his promising academic career would be dead in the water at such an early age. The concept stayed in his head, at this point an aging knighted emeritus, and this in a since much derided article in New Scientist titled, "Was Man More Aquatic in the Past?" Prior to writing this article, Hardy had made a verbal presentation of his now decades-old idea when asked to give a speech to, of all things, the British Sub-Aqua Club. A random journalist happened to be present and then wrote an article for a Sunday newspaper, an article that obviously contained a pile of sensationalist misunderstandings. One header became, "Oxford scholar says man descends from dolphins," ridiculously far from what Hardy actually presented to them scuba divers, so he quickly wrote his 4 pages for the New Scientist to try and correct all that nonsense. Also, Hardy never called it aquatic ape himself. That term was coined in 1967 by zoologist Desmond Morris in his bestseller book The Naked Ape, where Morris, more as an afterthought while writing about so many other aspects of the human animal, summarizes Hardy's suggestion across just 2 pages or so. Then later, screenplay writer Elaine Morgan read Morris's summary about Hardy's aquatic apes and was inspired to write her own debate book Descent of Woman from 1972. This one, both aiming to correct a host of sexist assumptions about human evolution also represented in Morris's book, but also to pick up on Hardy's aquatic idea that she caught as a flashbulb moment reading Morris's summary. Since then, Morgan became the one to take up Hardy's aquatic mantle, as no one else did it. Hardy only wrote specifically about his aquatic idea once more in an article he called "Was There a Homo Aquaticus?" This in a student magazine called Zenith. Safe to say, a messy birth of such a potent idea about human evolutionary origin, as will only be further illustrated in future videos.